Friday, Friday, gotta get down on Friday. Am I allowed to sing that?
Well, you have now.
Well, I have now.
It was almost so unlike the original that I don't think we'd get in any sort of copyright trouble for it, to be honest.
I'm in such a Friday mood today.
Yeah, me too. Me too. Friday feeling.
Yeah, I've got a little coffee. It's a magnificent coffee as well. You know, where you make it with the perfect ratios of everything.
Is it oat milk?
Yes.
I knew it.
Yeah. So I've got the coffee, the amount. So I put 2 teaspoons of coffee in,
Yeah.
and then I've got like a little marker on it of oat milk, and then the water in it. But the ratios of coffee to oat milk to water, perfection.
Do you know what I think would perfect that even more? Not our usual go-to, which is
Hazelnut.
Yeah, no hazelnut today. Brown sugar syrup. Oh, it's my new fave.
Like the top of a creme brulee.
So we spoke with Rebecca Peacock, who is the director, big title, the director of CPD, Professional Development at the ASE. So the ASE is the Association for Science Education. And as science teachers, myself and Sarah have always followed them pretty closely. We've gone to the conferences when we can, found them really insightful. We've exhibited there ourselves with various employers.
She's so humble about it, but no wonder she's got such a big job. Like that's a big job.
I was the complete opposite of humble just for having met her. Like, you know, I met the director of professional development from the ASE.
I've got a very important meeting with a very important person. Just leave me alone, please. So she had a university placement in France, working within physics. But from that, she said that was incredible. Like it was massively life-changing for her. And even just being in a different culture, in a different country, like it was hugely life-changing. So I want to know, as we like to chat in a little bit, where's your bucket list of places to go in the world?
Actually, I'm pretty sure I've got a list in my notes. I'm pretty sure I've written it down years ago, you know.
I love this. I love that you're opening your notes app on a podcast as well. That is brave.
By the way, I have 40 different notes in here.
I'm going to open mine now.
Wow.
I've got 126.
You win. Oh.
I can't read some of these. I've got a shopping list to get tuna, microwave rice, chia seeds. It's one of them. I've got a lot of different gym splits on here, I'm not going to lie. For different things, a lot of different running bits. What else have I got?
Oh, I've got the years that I got each of my cats so that I know how old they are. But I have found the bucket list, you'll be pleased to know.
Oh, good. Tell me.
17th of February 2023, I made this bucket list and I've ticked one of the things off in those 3 years.
Oh, Jess, talk to me.
The one I've ticked off is Auschwitz in Poland, which probably sounds a bit of a dark bucket list, but history, it's very important and it was quite moving, if I'm honest. Worried I'm not going to pronounce any of these correctly, but everyone heard my really great German last week, so they will forgive me for this. So Lofoten in Norway. Feel free to Google these.
Lofoten?
Yeah.
Oh, gorgeous.
Yeah, that was on the bucket list.
Wow. I would highly recommend people listening to this also Google at the same time.
I've also got Cologne Cathedral.
It's
very gothic. It looks stunning. Have you got that one?
It's a little bit like the Sagrada Familia, isn't it?
I don't know.
In Barcelona.
Oh, okay.
It's gorgeous.
I'm not sure how to pronounce the name of this lake. Is it Lake Blaus? Lake Blaus? Blausse, and that's in Switzerland.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
You've probably definitely either been here or it's on your list. Yellow Spring Road, Japan.
Oh, let me check. Oh, I haven't actually been there, but that is absolutely stunning.
Have you got a bucket list of places?
I do. Mine's a lot of Southeast Asia, so that's somewhere I really, really want to travel more. I've been to Japan, but I really want to go again. I think with going to Japan, it's so overwhelming the first time you go because it is a completely different culture that I do feel like you need to visit multiple times.
Yeah.
To see everything and experience everything. I really want to go to South Korea next. I really want to travel more of Thailand. So we've gone a little bit Friday mode there again. But let's bring it back to the episode. So a really important message behind this one, I think. I loved writing the script. I love talking to her, and I can't wait for people to listen to this episode. But it's all about supporting and developing females in physics. Was there any bits of that stood out to you?
I was particularly drawn by the job title she had when she worked at the Institute of Physics. So her job role was a gender balance officer. Like, wow, I imagine it was really interesting, very empowering, very rewarding. Yeah. So, yeah.
She talks really highly about that project, doesn't she? We will stop now and we will let you listen to Rebecca.
I hope you enjoy the episode.
Hello and welcome back to STEM Conversations, a podcast created to share stories, ideas and experiences shaping science, technology, engineering and maths. I'm Sarah and I'm joined by my co-host Ash.
Today we're joined by Rebecca Peacock. Rebecca is the Director of Learning and Development at the Association for Science Education, or ASE, where she oversees the development and delivery of CPD. She's passionate about inclusive science education, celebrating the strengths of individuals and the power of working together. Prior to this role, Rebecca has worked for the Institute of Physics as a gender balance officer and editor, a physics teacher and lecturer, as well as head of physics. Rebecca, welcome.
Hello, I'm very excited to be here. This is my podcast debut, and thank you so much for the intro. Let's dive in.
Oh, we are excited for your podcast debut then. That it's going to be good. It's going to be really good.
Something else to add to that plethora of roles you've had.
Podcaster. Today we are going to be exploring the theme of females in physics. We're going to be talking a little bit about your journey and a lot about the vital work that's being done to ensure young people can make informed choices about their futures without the limitations of stereotypes, and how we can all play a part in inspiring the next generation of female physicists. But as it is podcast number 1, we will start small as an easier one to settle us in. What have you been working on recently and what's exciting you most right now?
Yeah, so I'm recently back from family leave. I say recently, it's probably getting on for 5 months now. I've been really enjoying getting back into education, up to speed with what's going on in the world of education. I've always been someone who likes learning. I've always been that person that's volunteered to do the extra CPD when I was teaching, etc. So I've been taking myself to quite a few conferences lately. I think I've done 4 in the last 3 months. I do love my work. I love supporting other educators, and I feel that I'm just about finding my feet again. So, what's exciting me? Well, I am in charge of professional learning and development at the ASE, and so I am excited about the programme that we have to offer this year and what's in the pipeline. We have our annual conference, which is the largest science education conference in Europe. And we're gearing up to open up our speaker proposal forms for that for next year.
Sarah and I love the ASE conference. We had 3 days in Nottingham this year in January in the snow. We had a great time.
Yeah, we did.
It's one of those that you can't recommend enough to people to come. And when they come, they realise, instantly that you're amongst friends. You really feel that buzz from the community, and it's so good to come and learn about everything that you haven't thought about for a while, or realise that everything you're doing is the right thing to be doing for science education. As I say, be amongst friends. So yeah, thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
In your current role at the ASE, you're the Director of Professional Learning and Development, which we have touched on. But could you tell us a little bit more about what that role involves, please, and why you feel high quality teacher professional development is so critical for the future of science education?
Yeah, ASE is a membership organisation, and it's for anyone involved in science education. So teachers, technicians, ITT providers, researchers, partner organisations, and everyone else in between. And so my role as director is to design and develop the professional support that we offer our members, and it spans throughout their career as well. So we have events almost every day. Yesterday we had a network about AI. Today we've got climate change. Tomorrow we've got maths in science session. But it really varies. As I say, something every day, multiple things every day. And I'm in charge of developing that. Our members are fantastic people who really care about science education. And every day I'm astounded and blown away by the people that I talk to that are from our membership base. I'm astounded by their expertise, their care and their generosity. To work together to promote science education and excellence in science education. They not only do their day job, which we know is hard enough as teachers, but they come together to learn, connect with each other, share their expertise, and just make that tricky job of teaching that little bit easier. So the ASE is absolutely critical, I think, in providing that community where people can come together, keeping up to date and keeping that passion for science and for education alive. We do that through network meetings, webinars, programs of learning, and so there's always something for everyone. And then my day job, as I said, is kind of booking people in and designing and developing that professional learning. But it's about meeting people, everyone involved in science education. So meeting with people to see how we can enrich our calendar of events, draw on the work that ASE does. So we do advocacy work, policy work, curriculum development, and we have our journal publications as well. So really making sure that our offer is relevant, value for money, value for time, up to date. And ultimately, it has to be helpful for our members. I also host a lot of our sessions. So please do come and join us and come and say hi.
We are hosting some webinars ourselves with the ASE. So we've got some really exciting webinars coming up. So let's start then by looking a bit at your own journey. Your own path into physics was quite unique. It was a little bit different. You completed a joint honours degree in physics and French. And that led to a year at a research institute in France. Now, originally, I'm going to be honest, I did have the name of the research institute in here, and then I did remove it because I thought I'm not going to upset anyone by trying to say the name. So if you would like to, Rebecca, please do.
L'Institut Langevin.
Which is why I took it out of the script, because I would have not done that.
They're two people's names. They're both physicists.
Okay. So there you work to improve a neutron instrument through computer simulation and in the neutron optics department, growing crystals to be used in the instruments. So as a female physicist, did you feel at home in that space, or were there challenges with representation even then?
So it's having to cast my mind back. And I think I've always been someone that kind of second guesses myself and has that imposter syndrome. So we kind of track back earlier than the Institut Langevin. When I look back, I think I'm really grateful for my upbringing in the science capital that I had when I was young. Again, as I say, this is all kind of hindsight is a wonderful thing. I don't think I really knew that I had this privilege when I was growing up. We come from a working class background. Neither of my parents, I don't know how many A-levels they got, but they certainly didn't go to university. Both worked in science. And my dad worked indirectly for the European Space Agency. And so, yeah, I know. But I don't think we realised how awesome that was. You know, he just went out to work every day. But we lived in America when I was young through his work. And I have been to South America and to Cape Canaveral in Florida to see shuttles take off. And it's not that I thought everyone did that every day. Please don't get me wrong. But I don't think I realised just how lucky we were as kids. And I think that must have had some influence on me taking physics later on. I think what my parents instilled with that kind of hard work and thinking outside the box, because, council estate boy that goes on to work on Mars rover, for example, that's thinking outside the box. I don't think I ever really realised that physics was a masculine domain when I was younger. I just don't think I noticed it very much. So if you asked 18-year-old me why I didn't choose physics to study at university, I don't know if I would have been able to articulate it. I remember standing in the head of sixth form office thinking, I could do anthropology, I could do Egyptology, I could do meteorology. And I ended up choosing French. Maybe it's because I didn't see myself as fitting into that kind of stereotype of being the genius, that myth that we need to dispel with physics. But yeah, maybe it's because French was seen as a less risky option for me. I didn't go on to study physics at university initially. I went on to study French, and I thought I would be a French teacher. But then I missed it. I missed the physics. I also found French really, really challenging. And so I did some electives in physics in my first year. And then I went and spoke to the physics department and I said, look, can I switch to doing joint honours? And you asked if I felt at home in that physics space. Yeah, I think I felt at home or didn't feel at home in either of those spaces, really, but there certainly were differences. I remember noticing that my French peers had certainly spent a lot of time getting ready in the morning and were wearing makeup and had chosen the clothes that they'd worn that day and had straightened their hair, whereas, you know, my physics peers certainly hadn't done any of that, and they just banged on a hoodie and rocked up to lectures. So yeah, I think there was like that kind of slow realization. If I knew I had a French lecture first thing in the morning, then I might have not put on a hoodie that day. And I did, I have to admit, I did buy hair straighteners. Going back to the kind of being in that physics space in France, I absolutely loved it in France. It was hands down the best experience. There was a group of us of about 10, but a really core group of friends, and we were from all over Europe, and we were there doing these fantastic, awesome, like awe-inspiring physics experiments during the day, or science experiments, because actually some of us were biologists and chemists as well. We weren't all physicists. So we were doing this kind of really grown-up science during the day and working with people who had worked on like Nobel Prize winning experiments.
Wow.
I know. Awesome. Then in our spare time, we'd go off skiing or go and swim in waterfalls. Or we went on this really good road trip around the south of France as well. Yeah, I felt right at home.
I try really hard to not speak when the guest is giving their answer and give them the grace to say everything they want to say, but I definitely interrupted with a wow throughout that.
I mean, it was awesome. And then came back, finished my degree, and all I wanted to do was teach. I wanted to get more young people to experience what I'd experienced.
And it sounds like an absolutely incredible experience, something that I would have loved to do when I was younger. Do you remember how many females there were in your university, like on the physics side of things?
Yeah, in my head, when you asked me that, I think there were about 50 on our course, the physics course in my year. And I think there were about 5 of us who were female. But how many of us actually graduated out of those 5? I don't think it was 5. I think it was fewer than 5.
You moved from a research environment into the classroom as a teacher and head of physics. What were some of the most rewarding moments you experienced?
So I loved being in the classroom. I've made some amazing lifelong friends in every school that I've taught at. Teaching has helped me grow so much. So I mean, I could reel off attainment numbers and stats and things like that, but that's not what I'm going to do. As I say, teaching helped me grow so much. And I feel like I'd had good experiences growing up, but there's nothing like kids to teach you to make you open your eyes to how sheltered a life you'd lived. They're just so astute, aren't they? They don't let you get away with anything. I had the school of education myself, I think. And also I wasn't that confident in my subject knowledge when I was first teaching. So I loved being in the classroom. I loved the rapport, building relationships, exploring like different ways of teaching, the different pedagogy and all of that. But it didn't come easy to me. I think my physics, I did well at degree, but it doesn't necessarily translate into the classroom straight away. Yeah, I think my biggest achievement was my journey of developing myself, really. And you know, we don't shout about it enough in science that we have to teach more than one subject, don't we? We have to teach biology and chemistry. I learned biology and chemistry. We're teaching 3 subjects. So yeah, that's the kind of my initial reaction to that question. But then the longer I taught, the more there was that realization about how much teachers can make a difference in people's lives, in the young people's lives. And I still get emails now from students that I taught, a few, but there's one in particular that sticks out. He really won't mind me saying that he was a loner. He was so funny, had such spark. He just didn't really know his place, I think, or what he wanted to do with life. And from memory, I think he was thinking about dropping physics. And I remember distinctly saying, look, I can see real spark in you. your time hasn't come yet. One day you will find your tribe, and one day there's going to be absolutely no stopping you. So you might not feel it now, but don't drop physics. Stick with it, you know? Well, his time came. He emailed me not that long ago, actually, to say, I think he's got a PhD now.
What?
Yeah. And
Wow.
he's absolutely flying. And in his email, he wrote, I found my tribe, miss.
Oh, so he remembered.
And that's really stayed with me. It's not just about attainment. It's not just about outcomes. It's about helping young people find where they belong, find where they belong in society. And then there's the aspect which you kind of touched upon as well, which was, why weren't more of my students female? And again, I think once I kind of had that realization that actually this isn't just the way it is, and there is something that I can do about this. You know, this isn't just kind of status quo, and it's not to be challenged. That's when I realized I really do need to do something about this. And my career path changed. And I joined the Institute of Physics.
That is so uplifting. Honestly, I think I'd print that email. After leaving the classroom, you've mentioned already that you moved to the Institute of Physics to work on the Improving Gender Balance project. What was the core mission of that project, and what did it actually look like in practice?
Yeah, so the core aim of the programme was to increase the number of girls who went on to study A-level physics. And when I joined in 2014, it was a pilot project, and it was really for us to shape. So there was a team of, I think there was about 6 of us, and we were given a blank sheet and just said, right, what can you do to try to tackle this and to get more girls into A-level physics? So my role was at the whole school level, looking at what barriers there were to girls doing A-level physics. We weren't saying that girls were the problem. Absolutely not. No. It's about school life. It's about the societal expectations. It's about those school structures. And so we were just looking at ways in which we could tackle this. For example, we would meet with the person who does the timetabling in the school and make sure that there wasn't any narrowing in options at that point. So, for example, that French wasn't put up against physics, so they didn't have to make that choice between the two. We were doing audits of the visual prompts around the school. So, for example, in the science corridors, where there are posters with caricatures of Einstein on them, which perpetuate that myth that you have to be a genius or scatty or a little bit of an oddball to do physics. We were writing lesson plans, PSHE. We were delivering assemblies, running workshops for young people, working with teachers. We were running careers events for parents. Oh, it was a really, really fun thing to be part of. And I learned a lot. I was in 4 different schools. I was building relationships with staff. I was learning myself. I was learning about inclusive practice. That was in that very initial period. And then the programme got refined and refined. The funding came year after year. COVID came. It moved online. And we moved to the ASC. So the programme moved to the ASC, which is why I'm here now. And what we ended up with was a fantastic CPD offer for teachers that was online. So it had gone from that, real kind of what can we do to tackle this in schools to what's the synthesis of what we've learned that we can then use to support other teachers to really think about their practice, make their practice more inclusive. And that brought me to the role that I'm doing now.
I'm such a data nerd that I would have loved to have been involved with that from the start to now, and seeing the increase in uptake from females. I would have loved that.
Yeah. So I haven't mentioned that it made a difference.
I was left
you on a cliffhanger there. It really did.
I didn't want to put you on the spot, but
So it made a difference. There were upticks in the number of girls doing A-level physics. It was a program that ran over a number of years, but there was a randomized control trial that was done around 2020 that saw that there was a statistically significant increase in the number of girls that did A-level physics from the program that we ran.
Wow. Yeah. That's really rewarding, isn't it?
Yeah.
And are the schools still implementing some of the suggestions that you came out with?
Yeah. And that's one of the things that the randomised control trial found, was that the longer that schools kept this as a focus, as a priority, the more impact that it had.
So a big part of that work was addressing unconscious bias and stereotypes. Why is it so important to address these early on, and how do they impact a young person's belief that physics is for them?
Yeah. So I would answer that by saying society has a lot to answer for.
Yeah.
There are lots of studies that I could reference. So things like by the age of 7, a young person has decided whether they're going to be successful in life or not. Or by the age of 5, young people have clearly defined gender roles in their minds. And it's really sad. But we're all part of that structure. We're all part of this perpetuating some of these limits that society puts on young people and their expectations. And it's utter tripe, isn't it? I mean, I've got 3 children, and gender stereotypes are just so hard to debunk. My son wears blue, my daughter wears pink, and there's nothing necessarily wrong with that, but you have to support them to question the reasons why they want to just wear glitter and have unicorns in every item of clothing. What is it that's influencing those choices? Being a teacher is such an empowering position of privilege that you can use, your time with those young people to open their eyes and to expand their horizons. So we need to be aware of the child's context and meet them where they are. But there's so much to champion in young people. So yes, we're currently restricted by societal expectations, but we can champion difference, and we can give them the skills and the power to be whatever they want to be without limit. We all want to belong. So I think I'm going to probably, come back to this word belonging again and again. We all want to feel like we belong. We all want to feel valued. We all want to feel heard and know what success feels like. It's hard growing up. And you go from being cared for to then having to move into caring about other people. You go from taking to giving. You go from, not having a kind of valuable role in society necessarily to having to really think about, well, how can I contribute to society? And so, it's tricky. But as teachers, we have a power to kind of influence that for young people. So kind of going back to the question, I do consider myself as a physicist. I will still say to people, I'm a physicist, but I think my passion now extends a lot further than just physics. Yeah. And I'm passionate about every child and every path.
Yeah. What you were saying about your daughter and your son with the blue and the pink made me reminisce to when Sarah and I were making the artwork for this podcast and the thumbnails. And we both like the colour pink a lot. We buy things for our homes that are pink, but we're like, well, we can't have it pink because that's what society expects us to do. So now we've got this blue artwork for our podcast. Sarah, I remember you saying, well, we can like pink if it's because we like pink and we picked it.
But it's really hard, isn't it? Because then it's like, are you doing it because you're trying to challenge the societal norms, or are you doing it because actually that's a colour that you enjoy and you like, and therefore you would like it on your podcast in this scenario? And does everybody else understand that? And then does it matter? Who cares in the grand scheme of things? But it was a big decision, and we had a full conversation about it, just because we didn't want to just be seen to be fulfilling these gendered roles straight away.
Absolutely. Yeah. And everyone's allowed to like pink. I think you should change the artwork.
Maybe put a unicorn on it.
A glittery unicorn.
A glittery unicorn. Oh,
for us, it's kind of slightly backfired. Well, not backfired. That's not the right word. But my eldest is a boy, and we bought lots of pink things for him. So bought him a little pram and a doll. I remember for his first birthday, and he's got like this drawing pad, and the drawing pad we bought was pink. But then the second child was a girl, and so then she inherited all her brother's things. So everything she inherited was pink. So we didn't rebuy everything, we tried with the first. Maybe that's why she loves glittery unicorns.
Well, she's allowed.
He's allowed. Yeah.
Have you ever had any personal struggles with fitting in or finding your voice?
Yeah. I remember I walked into a room, it was for exam marking, physics exam marking, and I was told that I was in the wrong room. No, actually, I am in the right room. This is physics room, isn't it? And it's time, yeah, it's physics room, and kind of looked at me very quizzically. And when I asked to go and switch from French to physics, the person that I asked was a physics lecturer, and he told me to go home and make a proper decision. I think he thought I woke up that day and just thought, oh, I'm going to do
I just make this tiny life choice. Yeah, I've decided I'm going to go French to physics. Like, no thought process behind it.
No. And yeah, there are other kind of minor things that I've, encountered through life, but I try not to let them bother me. I mean, obviously I've remembered them. I'm not bitter. But then I think I do feel like a fish out of water in other spaces as well, like the all-party parliamentary working group for equity in STEM at House of Commons. I found that quite an intimidating environment. I think I'm just someone who's always aware of other people's expertise and the kind of value of other people. And I think that's why I love collaborating, because I do see that kind of strength in other people. I know I'm just me, I'm just one voice, one perspective. And at the ASE, I've got thousands of members that I can draw on to strengthen that voice or to challenge that voice. And I do try and draw on other people as much as I can. And that's the joy of working in a membership organisation.
We can definitely hear what you said about imposter syndrome at the start. I think we definitely just hear it filtering through every answer.
You've genuinely taken the words out of my mouth. Isn't it funny that this is a really common thing? I've talked about this quite a lot. It's such a common theme with women, such a common theme, having this imposter syndrome and, standing in a room and being able to say 100 nice things about the woman next to you, but not being able to pull up one reason why you should be there or why you're welcome in the room. It's so difficult, isn't it? And something that I found hard, especially as a teacher, was I would hate to ever think that the young girls that I taught had that feeling about themselves.
And I think I'm still on that path. I'm not there yet, but it's a path of self-reflection, but it's also, if I do it enough times with other people, or, as a teacher, then maybe it might eventually rub off on me too. The hope is inspiring the next generation to not follow that, fall into that pitfall. It's tricky. It's about that sense of belonging. It's about making sure you're welcoming when the young person comes into the classroom. It's about taking time to be interested in them and interested in their interests, learning that they've got a pet rabbit or that they like hockey, and weaving it into lessons and that kind of thing. And going back to that sense of value, we all are worthy. We've all got skills and strengths and things to offer. So yeah, I'm on a journey.
I'm on that journey too. I am with you on that journey. It's hard.
So we know that there's still a significant gap in the number of females pursuing physics. Beyond just the numbers, why is it so vital for the future of science that we inspire and retain the next generation of female physicists?
So the world has a lot of problems right now. We don't know what the future will hold. But we can be pretty sure that if you've been trained in the ways of science, that you're going to be able to solve those problems in the future. So yeah, it's just about equipping the next generation with the skills that they need to understand their place in society, arming them with that critical thinking, dialogue, respect for other people, understanding the lived experiences of different people is different, and respecting that. Physics has given me all of those things. So if I think about what I experienced in France, I worked with people from across the world and it was so exciting. I think sometimes we need to challenge that stereotypical view of, physicists sit there with, I don't know, a chalkboard. Or
that is what came into my head.
Yeah, or a notepad and a calculator, or all scientists wear white coats. There's so much more to it, and we absolutely need young people to bring their own authentic selves to the problems that we have, and be change makers in the world and make the world a better place.
You are so right about we need to change that narrative about physicists, because as you were speaking there, and as somebody who actively does challenge those stereotypes, straight away in my head I had the picture of, you know, a big chalkboard and calculations on there. So it's really hard to unpick that, isn't it?
Absolutely.
I'm just thinking back to what you were saying earlier, Rebecca, when you talked about coming from a working class family. And I was thinking about what I imagined as a physicist. And to some extent, I don't know if I was nervous to be in that space because I'm a female, or if I was nervous to be in that space because I didn't feel as though there was many people that maybe like spoke as northern as me or lived on a council estate. It isn't actually just gender that makes me think physics is a unique space. A physicist is incredibly intelligent. I'm fairly all right, but I'm not up there on that level.
I think in some ways I feel like as a physicist it's a little bit of a cop-out because there's a right or a wrong answer. You know, I found it so hard at school having to evaluate and analyze poetry because it was so hard. People said that I can't think of any poetry, but they're saying something in between the lines. No, give me an equation and I'll give you the answer, but I can't analyze poetry.
Yeah.
But having said that, what I don't want people to go away with and think is that there is this kind of opposition between science and English or science and communication, because they're absolutely so intertwined. And that's something that I've been on a journey with is improving my communication skills and recognizing how important communication skills are as a scientist, as a physicist. Physicists are no more intelligent than other people. It's just we've all got different skills. They've all got something to offer. But yes, I am biased and I do think that everyone should learn science.
So for any educators or parents listening who want to help bridge this gap, what are some of the most effective ways that we can inspire females into physics and make them feel like they truly belong?
It's about broadening their understanding of the world and their place in it. So linking what we're doing in the classroom with careers and with role models, thinking about the context that we use in our lessons. And that is easy to say. It's not easy to do in practice. It has to be done purposely. I think of it as being like a muscle that needs to be trained. So looking for the hooks and also looking outwards. Just because you've taught something 5 times in the same way doesn't mean that you can't kind of reflect on it and think, actually, is there a different way of framing this? Is there a different example that I could use? Yes, so-and-so in my class really likes drama. So let's frame this in a different way and kind of bring drama into it, for example. Thinking of that young person as a whole and not just thinking I've got to teach them science today, but thinking about their onwards journey beyond the classroom and making that difference in the world.
To end our conversation, we like to give listeners one key takeaway from each episode. What's one idea, perspective, or piece of advice you'd love them to carry with them after this conversation?
Okay, let's see how many I can fit into this one piece of advice.
Sarah tells people off.
I do, because we quite clearly say one piece of advice and people go, and the first thing.
Okay, physics is exciting and there's so many opportunities. Young people have got so much to offer and such bright futures ahead of them. But we need to collectively kind of challenge the stereotypes that are around and think outside the box. So when we're in front of our young people, the language that we use matters. The examples that we choose matter. The opportunities that we signpost matter. And we've got that opportunity to show them that we value them. And it all adds up. And it all adds up to hopefully making the world a better place.
I will give you that as one piece of advice, because that was very nice and incredibly uplifting. So I will give you that as a one piece of advice.
Yeah, let's give each other a little lift.
I think a few people could just do with a sit down and a chat with you, and then they might be more inclined.
Yeah. I mean, when you said just then about what's your one takeaway, I mean, the way I talked about France, it was all genuine. I haven't hammed it up or anything. I haven't exaggerated it, but I'm thinking, let's all go to France.
Yeah.
It all stems from that. But life is hard. Let's all lift each other up. Let's all help each other. Let's be that community. And join the ASE.
Well, Rebecca, thank you so much for joining us. It's been great hearing about your experience and really how you're championing females in physics.
Thank you. You said that it would fly by, and I've really enjoyed it. So should we do it again this time next week?
Yes, of course.
And thank you to everyone listening. Don't forget to follow STEM Conversations wherever you get your podcasts, and join us next time for more stories and ideas shaping science, technology, engineering and maths.